My name is Oliver Kristoffersen. I play basketball at Algoma University, and I just finished my first year there, so going into my second. So my best friend Marcus, back home in Denmark, his dad played for the professional team in our city, and he obviously has to play basketball as well because his dad did. So I'd say when we were around 9 or 10 years old, his mom approached my mom and asked if I wanted to just come to one practice and try it out. If it's not for me, fair enough. But me and him played soccer together, so it was kind of natural for me to also come and try to play basketball with him. And yeah, I guess the rest is history with that. I started playing, didn't stop, stopped playing soccer, and then basketball was just full focus. Played for my hometown team. I went to an academy in Copenhagen for a couple of years, the capital of Denmark. And then I came back home, finished my high school years in my hometown. And then I spent 2 years as an academy player with the pro team. And then last year I played, or not, the season before that, I played in Alberta for a college out there in Olds, small town, very, very small town, like 15,000 people. And then we had some we had a good season, and then yeah, I transferred and I played my last season at Algoma University. I'd say since I was like younger, I always wanted to come to, I'd say North America in general, and try the college experience because we had like Americans on my hometown team, and I used to have some of them as coaches, and they tell me how college and university is like the best 4 years of their lives. And I just always kind of envied also like the playing for a school. We don't really have that back home. You just play for your club. So I always wanted to come to North America. And then my coach from my pro team used to be an assistant coach at University of Calgary. So one of his former players was the coach in Alberta and Olds. So through that connection, it was pretty easy. I didn't really talk to a lot of other colleges coming over. So Canada was not always on my mind because I really didn't know too much coming from Denmark. But when the opportunity presented itself, that was really it was really a no-brainer. It's funny because like Canada and Europe, we both use FIBA rules, right? Like the states has their NCAA stuff, but even though it's the same rules on paper, it's so different. Like it's crazy, and I think there's a learning curve to that. Even though like coming over, it's like you can be a really good player, but there's some sort of learning curve. I'd also say like even between Alberta and Ontario, like there's a difference. Um, but culturally, I'd say people are just nice in Canada in general. I really didn't have too much trouble, I'd say, transitioning over. Obviously, there's like differences, that's without a doubt, but I think most of those differences are some that I like to think that I've embraced pretty good. And I like it. I like Canada so far. So I have nothing but good things to say. I was at a wedding in the States this past weekend for one of my former teammates, and I just like to tell people that it's just like Canada's like this fun mix of like Europe and the States. And it's like there's all these things that you see here, which are like the things you saw in movies growing up and stuff. So it's kind of still surreal to be here in all honesty. I would say to not be scared of asking questions. I feel like a lot of times people are scared to show that they're, I wouldn't say failing, but that they don't know what they're doing. And I was very fortunate to have really, really good teammates in Alberta to help me with anything and everything. Like if it was like even something to do with like, oh, I need to get this and this for like groceries or something, and it's just like just ask. Like it's something as simple as that. Like it's that's the way to, I guess, learn. You can always learn by trying, but showing that you're able to open up and ask people for that kind of help, like with anything, I think is like a really good ability to have because you also show that you know that you're not always, right and doing the right thing. It's okay to ask. And I had great teammates. My coaches help with anything. So I just say I'm very fortunate to have good people around me. The coaches I had, they like it was the first school I talked to in like my transfer process was I talked to Coach Clayton Kane. He was my first contact at Algoma, and I had couple meetings with him, couple meetings with Coach Ryan Mitri, and from there it was like a no-brainer decision. I talked to I had sent out my stuff to other schools as well, but I was like, I signed very early. I signed in like April, which is pretty early if you're transferring over. And it was just, I loved the coaches. We had really good talks about play style, culture, because, not to, there's no need to not say, but Algoma has historically been a losing program in youth sports. And I loved the way the coaches were being very honest about the whole situation. And it was not trying to sell me this fairy tale dream of, oh, it's just going to be the best and best. But no, it was a talk about it's going to be tough and we need to change some things. And I kind of like the idea of like the grind and changing people's mindset of what Algoma is. And I feel like we're very on track to doing that. But I mean, it was a tough season. Like we won 2 games, right? 2 games out of what, 22 games and plus preseason. Like that is rough for anybody. But I'd say that we are very fortunate with the group we have, and I would say everybody stayed the course throughout the year. And yeah, I mean, tough mentally, but you learn a lot from that. You learn a lot about both yourself, but also other people. I just love playing basketball. And I feel like I've had some friends stop playing basketball, and it always, at least I feel, it comes down to your love of the game. And if you love what you're doing, it's not that hard to keep going, I find. Obviously, there's going to be tough moments, and there's going to be days where you don't feel like doing it, but that love for what we do and the grind, as most often say, love for the grind is what keeps you going. And with that, you also need great teammates, because if your teammates are not with you and you don't have a group of people that love doing what they're doing, it's hard to keep going by yourself. And I would say a lot of my teammates and I have classes together, for example. That helps a lot. When you're going into class and it's not just a room full of people you don't know, but you're going with teammates and people, at least I find, they're good at holding each other accountable and making sure that everybody gets their school done. That's just like the flip side of it, and that's, I mean, we always talk about we're in a position that a lot of people would love to be in. So not taking it for granted is what you always have to remember. There's like a very specific moment, because I've always just been the guy to say, this is wrong. We got to do this, we got to do that, because I had that freedom, unlike my youth teams and like in high school, because often when you're that age and you're, not to sound too like arrogant, when you're the best guy on the team, you kind of get that freedom. And then this year in the first semester, I don't remember what the situation was, but I had been a little critical of some things in the practice. And one of my teammates, he talked to the coaches about one thing, and then I joined the conversation, and he just flat out told me, like, you gotta say this in some kind of way, because people are not listening because of the way things are said. So it was a teammates like holding me accountable to saying, hey, like, maybe you're right, maybe I was right in what I was saying, but it's the way you approach the problem and the way you approach people kind of needs to change. So it wasn't even like I knew just off my own like intuition that it needs to change. It was my teammate holding me accountable, and I think that's a really good thing. I think that's really what separates like good teammates from great teammates. But I was really happy that happened, because I could have gone the whole season and not changed, and then there would have been a divide on the team, and I would hate for that to happen. I hate when people are mad at me. I hate when I have indifferences with people. Like, I can agree to disagree, but I need to come to that conclusion with you. We can't just have this like unspoken. I don't like that. So I was very happy. Or just say like voicing your opinion, because if you go with it in silence, it's never going to change. And I feel like it's tough, because you have your guys on the team. Like any team ever, you have your friends, and then there's your teammates. There's always like a little bubble of people that you get along with better than the rest, and that's in the workplace, your classes. That's just how life is. But if you just stick in that group and then there's another group on the other side. It's like you get pitted against each other, but you need to voice your opinion not just to your group of people, but to the whole team, or I don't know, your work. You need to say it out loud to everybody, and then you need to be able to remember that there's also the other side. So even though maybe before you have to talk, you're 100% sure you're right. There's no doubt in your mind, but you need to be open-minded because other people 100% will have different experiences of the same experience. So it's just being open-minded, but also voicing your opinion and staying true to what you believe is right. I'd say I've just always, I think my parents have just brought me up to always try to do my best, in all honesty. And I feel like that's what I bring, especially like my mom was my soccer coach growing up. And I feel like I just want to make like back home proud. And I just want to show them that, Denmark is actually, at least basketball wise, a place to be, recognized for more because we've always been kind of looked over, not just for basketball, but like in general. So I feel like I just always, when I walk on the court or I do something in the classroom, I just always remember to have this like pride of like where I'm from. I feel like that's what I try to do at least. When I like debated with my parents and my friends if I was gonna go to Canada at all, it always came back to the same point, and it's like I don't want to be 35 and say what if, because when I'm 35, that's done. You're done. There's nothing more. You can't go back and do it. So like if you have the opportunity, if you're thinking about it, like do it. And if you do it for 1 year and you hate it, fine. You can say you tried and you gave it your all. But if you don't even try, you can't say that you did. And you're gonna be 40 and you're gonna be telling your kids, oh, back when I could have. Yeah, could have is not you did. So I just, it's so simple, but I feel like that's just what it boils down to. And you can always, after 1 year, say, you know what, this is not for me. I'm done. But you have to give it a shot at least. Yeah, and like no one's gonna bat you for trying. I mean, the only thing I always like, as I've also like coached kids, and it's like, oh, blah blah blah, and like the worst thing that can happen is you fail, and that's okay. Then you learn something about yourself, and then you're that experience richer. Like you're not gonna die from it, so it's like why not just do it? We always talk about like we want to build a culture here when we leave, and I really truly want to spend the rest of my years at Algoma. And I feel like basketball wise, whatever that success looks like, I just want to be proud of the progress we made and what we're leaving behind as a team. I feel like that's something that's like, it's not tangible, right? It's not, you can't sit down and I can say, oh, I want to win 15 games. I want to make it to this, and that. But at the end of the day, like there's going to be a lot of teams that win 15 games in a year and it's going to change, but I want to be proud of the change we at least believe that we're going to make, when it's all said and done. I feel like that's the most important part of it. It's not the amount of wins. Obviously that's important, don't get me wrong. I want to win basketball games, but it's the culture and kind of the expectation we set for the future of the program is what I really want to succeed with.